Hey everybody, welcome to Mortal Content. I'm always grooving out to that tune for the theme music. This month I'm very happy we get to have Art Eddy from the Art of Fatherhood. Art, how are you, my friend?
Doing good, man. It was great to chat with you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah. So before we start, as we do even when you're on the Friday show, do you have anything in your glass this evening? Are you drinking anything? Water,
I am
whiskey,
drinking
whatever?
nothing right now.
Yeah,
I feel like if
totally
I have
fine.
beer, I'm gonna fall asleep.
I understand that all too well. So I'm going to take a bit of a chance tonight, and this is the show I usually drink whiskey.
Yeah.
But my brother-in-law sent me these samples of things. This is a Woodford Reserve Double Oak Single Barrel Proof. That is 96%.
Oh
That's 90,
wow.
and I am a little terrified. 96, 97 proof.
If you
So
have
I'm gonna.
some ice, or you have like a little glass of water to help you out. You never know, right?
Well, I have a backup if this is a little too aggressive. Which my brother-in-law likes things like high octane. He likes them like 120 proof and all that stuff. And I'm like, then how do your intestines hold up? But
And
all right, so
who
we're
who
gonna
makes it again?
Woodford Reserve. So it's a Canadian whiskey.
Yep, I have a bottle downstairs. It's not that high, but it's definitely I dig it.
That is strong on the nose, baby, stings the nostrils. So, oh, it's not as bad as I expected, but it's
Okay.
definitely a little stingy. So, but I think I might save that because that's not going to be something I can drink a lot of. And that's not that I'm trying to drink a lot of anything. It's just like one sip of that was plenty. So I'll have
I
something
think
else.
as we get older, you're just like moderation is key, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like I remember we had Chuck Wendig on our Friday show, and he wasn't drinking during the show, and he goes, "My problem is if I drink anything past like 8 o'clock, like anything with liquor, in it, I get heartburn." And I'm like, "Dude, we're all like, all of us have as we get to a certain age. Everything just kind of just gets to this weird space where shit that never bothered you before completely just wrecks your day or your evening." So yeah,
I now realize that Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon, I'm getting too old for this shit, can be used in anything, right? Like,
yeah. He was like 46 in that movie, like for real. I'm like, I'm 9 years older than that, my friend.
but as a kid, you're looking at him like, yeah, he's old. Like, like Steve Martin. I would see like Steve Martin is like maybe because his hair was always silver, and I should
Yep.
talk. I have no hair, but like just the idea of like you have people that look like they're in like 50s, but they were 35 when they looked 50.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that old thing with Wilford Brimley and Cocoon was like the same age that Tom Cruise was doing like these Mission Impossible movies, and I'm like, holy shit! Or like the Golden Girls, like I don't know if you
Oh
ever
my
heard that.
gosh,
Those
yeah.
those
Yeah.
ladies, those ladies in the show were supposed to be in their 40s.
That did not look. I don't understand. As a kid, like you didn't really know the backstory, but then as you get older, you're like, what? Like they look like my grandma.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, they're 27.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna switch because that's too
yeah.
much. So I'm gonna
Speaking of like teachers though, it's like,
yeah.
dude, you remember when you were a kid and you saw your like a teacher out and about in the wild? You're like, whoa, you have a life.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you don't exist just in the school? You don't live there? Yeah, yeah. That was always a little odd. So I'm gonna drink. This is a little bit left of Crown Royal, and the story behind this: my parents got me for Christmas, bought me not one bottle of Crown Royal, but two. A booze I have never talked to them ever about before. They just decided to get me two.
Nice.
Like I don't drink that much. How am I
Yeah,
gonna do? So I'll have some of that, and I'll douse it with some Coke, and we'll just power through that. But
Brown's always a good choice. Nice, man.
yeah, but like I said, that was just funny. Them like, oh, they got me a bottle of Crown Royal. Like, oh, they got me two. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Like, do you think I'm a really alcoholic or what?
yeah. What do you
So
think of me, parents? Like, what's going on?
yeah,
Maybe they secretly watch your show on Fridays.
yeah, yeah, maybe. But the thing is, on like that Friday show, I just drink beer and that. So,
Yeah.
but at any rate, let's talk a bit about before we delve into some different topics. Part of the show is talk about content, and you definitely have content. So let's talk a bit about the art of fatherhood. So give us a little bit about your podcast.
Yeah, thanks, man. Art of Fatherhood kind of started about 2018, 2019. Every Monday, a podcast comes out. This week was with Connor Barwin. He used to play for the Eagles, played for the Texans as well, but now he does stuff in the front office for the Eagles. So it was a really cool chat with him. We even talk about sneakers. He's not as big sneakerhead as I am, but if like you kind of like look through his like social media profile, he's always wearing like Air Jordan 1s and stuff like that.
Mm,
What's up, Victor? I know we'll be watching The Punisher soon. Don't you worry. And also Fandad's a great place for to check out movie reviews and
yeah.
reviews and all that other stuff. But yeah, so there's that. Tuesday is today is Dad's Doing It Right, where I talk about like dads kind of like in the same genre. This one was dads and sons or dad and kid duos in the entertainment world. And then Wednesdays there could be another podcast, a funny article. Thursdays, as you can tell, I'm a collector. People will kind of showcase like what's going on and like what will they collect and all that. There's a family story. And then Friday, I just kind of showcase all the stuff you might have seen throughout the week and some other things. So I appreciate you asking me to talk a little about the Art of Fatherhood, man.
So that's true. I feel like this has been around for way longer. Did it really start in 2018 or 19? Something like
Yeah,
that.
2018, 2019. I've been in the obviously fatherhood podcasting space for a while now.
Mhm.
So I think that's why you're like, wait, what? Like, so yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, you were. Is this one of your new podcasts? Dad say never. Ah, man, Zach, just a delight, man. Just a delight. Love that guy.
Yeah. He's a
Yeah,
good dude.
yeah. So, with that, with the fatherhood, the art of fatherhood podcast, that I find really fascinating for a lot of different reasons because you go just a gamut of different kind of guests. It's could be just like chefs, it could be directors, it could be some guy that's just doing this new thing with tech innovation for kids, like fatherhood and things like that. And I what was without putting you too much on the spot, what was your maybe your favorite? Who do you think was the most interesting person you had? Like somebody surprisingly that was really more interesting than you thought. And not that's not an insult to anybody else. Just like somebody you're like, wow, that was way more interesting than I anticipated.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. Like, yeah, I love how you preface like it's like not the other people who I don't mention is not like that. But
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean. Yeah.
yeah, no, I would say like one of the biggest takeaways I would say was when I interviewed, and I was a to have the longevity as Jeff Foxworthy had for whether you like his comedy or not. I appreciate him coming on the show. We were talking about things, but one of the things that stuck with me is like how he would go to a city, do like a stand up, take the red eye, so he would take be able to take his kids and maybe his neighbor's kids or his neighbor's which was his niece, um, to school, drive them to school because he really wanted to be part of their life.
Mhm.
And he said, like, when they got older, I would have a beer with them when they were drinking age, and we would just talk about life. And he's like, I would just listen. And I
Mhm.
think, especially with the notoriety he has and all this other stuff, just a down to earth guy. And that was like one of the things where I was like, it was really cool to just see all the different things behind the grind that he was doing to make a name for himself in the world of comedy. But then just to get like the background, like I love documentaries. I know like there's like kind of an influx of documentaries right now, but I just think just the idea of him talking about just talking about how much he really wanted to be there as a dad really struck a chord with me.
Yeah, that's interesting. So like the idea that he would do shows and then like take a red eye just to make sure he could knowing he was jet lagged and tired and all that, but that's cool that that was the step he made. It reminds
Yeah.
me a bit. I don't know. Did you ever have Alton Brown on your show?
No, I've he would be an awesome guest. Like he's amazing. Just the way that he breaks down food, like from a science
Mhm.
perspective.
Yeah, but he did a whole thing where he talked about one time I was watching him and he said as long as he was home, his daughter would never not have breakfast. He would always make breakfast for her. If he was home, he made breakfast for her. He didn't matter when she had to get up, he would get up before her, make her, and he's a good cook. So she
Yeah,
was getting like a freaking banger breakfast to start her day. But I really am I admire folks like that who clearly are very busy, but make sure that they prioritize their kids. Like I
yeah,
said, I hadn't heard that bit from Foxbury yet. The problem is I have like a collection of podcasts of yours I have to go back and catch up on.
But
Because
no, I think too. You just mentioned, Brown. Like, it's really cool when you talk to dads who are famous chefs or just have cookbooks coming out. One of the major thing that they will say is like cook with your kids, and they will definitely try to have. They'll have a better palate if they cook with you, because if they're actually making the meal and seeing what goes into it, they'll probably have more of a chance to like, I'm gonna check this out. So I appreciate that.
yeah, that is something like I'm not a chef, obviously, but I cook quite a bit for health
Yeah.
reasons. But like having your kids involved, like it used to be when I first started cooking, I just wanted nobody in the kitchen. Like, let me just focus because I'm not going to be able to focus. But so much more fun when you can get them in there and they're cooking with you, and then you can talk to them the whole time. And the whole thing with Foxworthy talking about just being like listen to your kids, and you'll learn more than you think. Like
Yeah.
the thing is, like, you and I are men of a certain age, so our parents are basically like, you're going to talk and you're going to listen, and
Yeah.
that's not what you should be doing now. Like, we know better now, so it's good that you
Yeah.
see that. This is an interesting thing that I have a side quest on this particular comment from Zach about going to see Alt Brown.
Yeah.
The tickets, man. I don't know if you've seen the thing where, like, unfortunately, I'm a little bit more in line than I would like. And I saw this video where, like, basically, like, a bunch of artists were canceling tours because the resellers that would just buy a scad of tickets can't sell them for the prices that they want to make money. So now all these places are like just completely like not selling out. And before it looked like they were selling out. Really, it's just the resellers are buying a bunch of tickets. So his point about being up in the rafters, that's about the only tickets you could get if you weren't doing the reseller thing. So
Yep.
have you done any of this stuff with, like, I don't know how, like, my wife and I like going to concerts to just kind of, it's a thing we like to do. But man, it's expensive. Do you guys experience that? Like, do your kids like going to concerts? Do you go with them? Like, is that something you guys do?
So my oldest, she's gone to like Billie Eilish, Sabrina Carpenter, all this other
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
I've had Walker Hayes on a couple of times on the podcast, and he was like, "Hey man, every time I'm in North Carolina, let me know, and my team will hook you up with tickets and meet and greets." I was like, "All right, cool." So I took my youngest at the time a few years back, and it was really cool. Free concert, great seats, so I didn't have to pay anything, and then I got to see him at the like meet and greet and stuff like that. We kind of had like a quick moment. He took some pictures and was like like signed something for my daughter. Awesome dude. Um, you do, you bring up a sore subject for me because like I'm pretty good, like, because I'm a sneakerhead. I know, if and also collectibles, like I'll know when to, like, oh, this is when you order stuff, this is when you get stuff,
Yeah.
right? I have been striking out, like I've got my daughters and my wife tickets to different events here and there, but
Mm-hmm.
the two concerts that really, like, I tried to get was Taylor Swift for one, and that was just tough, like, going it was just frustrating. And then the other one recently was Noah Kahan, and I was just like trying to get it from
No.
and here's the thing, man. I was like, with the Taylor Swifts, I didn't have, my oldest was like, "Hey, just get the Capital One card so we can get early access." I'm like, "Okay, sure." And then, like, um, but I was still trying to get with Noah Kahan. Like, we had not one but two chances for pre-sale in North Carolina. So I was like, all right, cool. I get in the queue, sweet. I'm like 530th with the pre-sale. I'm waiting to buy tickets, and like, hey, I got in. It's a pretty good number. No, I was like, I think they reached like four something. And it's like we reached the limit with the pre-sale. And I was like, all right.
Yep.
Second thing, same time happens. I'm like, what's going on? And then for the general public, I'm like, all right, maybe this is my shot. Granted, the venue was like seating like 53,000, right? Get into the queue. I'm at 51,000 something. I'm like,
Oh,
there's no way in hell I'm getting tickets. And I
yeah.
feel so bad. Like everything else, like I'm a good gift giver, but the only thing is when it comes to concert tickets, I suck at it.
You don't suck at it. That's the way it works. Like, my wife wanted to go to see Noah Kahan too, and we were trying, like, we were in, like, we had, like, I had like three browsers open, like, in queues for different places, and just none of them. I was like, again, like you said, the venue's like X amount of people, and I'm like 20,000 past that. I'm like, well, I'm not getting those tickets. So Yeah,
You know what they should do is like you should have to add like I don't know, like because you could easily cheat online, I guess, but do something where it's like you have to almost like a cover letter why you want to go to this. And again, you can lie and stuff, or like there's trivia where you have to like go through certain things before you can buy any tickets. And you can,
yeah,
if you want to buy a decent amount of tickets, you have to be like a diehard fan, and hopefully we'll cut out those resellers.
yeah. Well, I think this is kind of like an inflection point where if the resellers are like, we're not making money on it, we're not going to do it. And all of a sudden, like, and the problem is like Ticketmaster owns everything. They own most of the venues, almost all the big venues. So they're just a monopoly. They could charge whatever the fuck they want for these tickets. So it
Yeah.
makes it super difficult to get tickets for things that are really, really popular. Like the things that my wife and I go to are generally like not like Billie Eilish and all those. Like we're going to see Evanescence soon because my wife liked them. That was part of her birthday present. We're going to go see Jill Scott, who I love, and
Oh,
then
nice.
so we've seen her in concert before at a jazz festival in Rochester. But then the other one, we're going to go see Alabama Shakes, which that one I was like very happy about that because that Brittany Howard can sing her ass off. So,
Jill
um,
Scott, like I did this thing years ago with Ford. They brought me to like check out like this was years ago when they did like some of the like self-driving cars, and again it was like very early, but like there was like this like dinner and like cocktail hour or like cocktail day or evening, and Jill Scott performed. It was just
that's awesome, though.
what? I was like, all right. And then like when I used to work for New York radio station, when people wouldn't pick up tickets, we would have extra tickets left over. So I got to see the Police for free in Madison Square Garden,
Oh man,
and then I gave a couple of round of tickets to my wife and my father-in-law to go see Genesis at Giant Stadium before it became MetLife or whatever. So like I think maybe the ticket gods are like, well, you've gotten some free stuff and some good things. Like you're not gonna like
like,
you're not
that's
gonna
enough.
you're on the low part of the waiting list to get on the tickets, I guess.
Yeah. So we have a couple of comments here. Like, yeah, Victor here said he's been to a few concerts. Victor, we'd like to hear what concerts you went to with your daughter because I believe I'm going to say younger, but I don't know the exact age. So, but we'd like to hear what you went to the concerts with her. So yeah. So Zach said I'm also deciding to take my son DJ Shadows introducing 30th anniversary. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he said, I don't know who Kamasi Washington is. Do you?
No.
No. So
It's probably some 8-bit artist, right? Like that he loves.
yeah, like some guy coming from Japan to
Yeah.
play his, Metroid music or something. So hey, last month I had him on talking about records. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Like we had a really good time talking about all that stuff. So
No, he really cares about that too. And if you follow
mhm,
Zach on like Instagram, you'll see like different music,
mhm.
different like vinyl collection, but then also too, we're talking about cooking too. Like he makes some really great food. Like and he'll just kind of, take pictures of the process and all that. So yeah, it's like a lot of people you have, like, especially like mortal content, man. These people are creating some cool content.
Yeah. So yeah, I appreciate that. But so yeah, we got a little afield on the ticket prices, but I just thought that was an interesting side quest to go on there because I think everybody that likes music or if you like comedy shows like Ticketmaster owns all that stuff too. Like my wife and I went to see Josh Johnson because I really like him,
Oh, nice.
and we saw him. And sorry, yes, Zach, we get you're right. Sorry for misspeaking there. But we got these tickets, and it was in Albany, and it was at some place my wife and I had never heard of. And we went in, and we were in the very back row, and the acoustics in the building were freaking terrible. It was cement behind us. So I, as someone who can't hear well, was missing like
Ugh.
half of what he was saying. So, that's not the ticket's fault, but just like the thing is like trying to get tickets to things that are entertainment. This is supposed to be entertainment. And I know you talked about Noah Kahan, but he's like been trying to figure out a way to make things more affordable for the people to come to go see him because he wants those people to come see him. And there've been a few artists that are doing their best to try to avoid, the Ticketmaster thing, like Pearl Jam's sort of famous. Um,
Well, maybe also too, like maybe there's a way you can't resell tickets anymore.
Yeah, like they should
And
just
if you can't go and you really like, and you, like, not that you're gonna like, what was it like for plane flights? It was like that one Seinfeld episode where you had to show like the death certificate if there was a death in the family or something like that. Like whatever, but like maybe if they did the whole thing like you can't like resale tickets, that would be I think it would start like taking care of the problem. I remember back in the day, like J.C. Penney or Macy's at the mall when I was in New Hampshire, like anytime like, hip hop concert was coming, I would like stand in line at the, like they had that like ticket booth or like the
yeah, yeah, I
customer
remember those
service
things.
thing, and you're just like standing in line for those tickets. And there was also like Celtics tickets that, or like, yeah, exactly. Red Sox, whatever the case may be, before like the dawn of the dial-up internet, and there was like ways you could buy tickets. Those are the things where it's like, all right, I got to stand in line on a Tuesday at 4 p.m. because that's when the Rough Riders, uh, Rough Riders concert will come out. So like that's
Yeah.
what you have to do, right?
Yeah, I forgotten about that, but yeah, you could do that shit. You go to something like the Macy's is selling tickets. Like what? What? Okay, well I'll go there.
Yes,
So
I mean that's a great way of being like, and and like they had that like laminated sheet. Where do you want to sit? Like, I don't know, section 5. Like, oh, that's
yeah,
$500. Okay, no, give me something
not
that's more like $50.
yeah, $50, man. Like that would be awesome. Like I did see. I think it was 2 years ago. My wife and I saw Tears for Fears at Bethel Woods, which is essentially Woodstock. It's on the ground where Woodstock was, and I think each of our tickets was $30. But that was like an exceptional, and we had good seats. We were like you could sit in a lawn, and it was like $25. But like
Yeah.
then you're sitting on grass unless you rent a chair and all that crap. So now I'm at a point where like I want to be able to sit and I want a padded seat because I don't want to stand the whole time because I can't.
Mention the padded seat. My youngest, she's been doing track, and it's just like you're sitting in the bleachers indoors, for volleyball, outdoors for track, and you're just like, and you see all these parents come in with like these, you can tell like they're seasoned, you know, sport parents because they come in and they have like, and I like my kids have played sports throughout the years, but I'm like, they have like looking around, it's like they have like these pillow seat things going on. They have like, it's almost like they come and you're like, are you camping here? Because they have like these big backpacks.
Yeah.
It's just like these enormous seats that they can fold up for like the seats on the thing, man.
And then you'd be like, man, I wish I would have done what they were doing because this hurts like my
Yeah,
butt. I want to stand
exactly.
up now. So yeah, get the bad pun out of the way. You got to do something happen and you were head over heels. Yes, I was because I absolutely love Tears for Fears. It's one of my favorite '80s bands. So
I think
yeah,
Victor was saying he saw Paul McCartney, Weird Al, The National, and Tyler the Creator.
yeah.
Those three.
I listen. I people who know me know I'm not the hugest fan of the Beatles, but I my sister-in-law saw that and said seeing Paul McCartney live was fantastic. So Jill and I did see Weird Al last year too. We saw him in concert when he did his concert.
Nice.
Uh, so that was fine, except he did the instead of the he did the parody Fat, and he came out in a fat suit. And my wife and I were like, maybe not the time for that, my guy. Don't do
Yeah.
that anymore.
Did you you know, I've like there's other like podcasts I listen to or different shows, and they'll talk about like concerts they're going to. One of them was talking about Guns N' Roses and how Axl Rose was like physically he's better, but his voice is like just gone because he was going through like a
Yep.
rough patch where like he was like just like he was really bad and lethargic, but now he's got some energy, but his voice stinks. But then my wife and I were watching American Idol, like the final like episode last night, and they had Carrie Underwood was performing with Motley Crue, and I was just like,
Oh,
oof,
yeah.
like
Vince Neil's not sounding great anymore.
oh. And like Carrie was like her back was hurt because she was carrying the vocals the whole time, like and like Tommy Lee, like I'm like that's Tommy Lee, right? Like the dude with the infamous sex tape with Pam Anderson. Like that dude just looks like he should just be like, I'm good. I don't need to do
Yeah.
this anymore.
Yeah, a friend of mine went and posted about how she had just gone to see the quote unquote Van Halen with David Lee Roth, and it was like not obviously not Eddie because he's passed away, but his brother
Yeah.
wasn't in it, and it was just like the one guitarist, and she said it was just I don't know what that was. It was like performance art. It was Like David Lee Roth can't. He wasn't a great singer to start with. He was just super charismatic.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
now he just does all this weird smiling, and it's I don't know. Watch videos of some of the concerts with him, and you'll be like, I don't know what's going on. So yeah.
I think especially for us, nostalgia is can do so much,
Mhm.
and bring us back to certain times. But then when you go and see something, you're like, "Nah, this ain't it." This is
Yeah, and that's why when you see like when we did see Tears for Fears, like they just sounded awesome. Like they sounded good. Like and those guys have been together for 35, 40 years.
yeah.
Like I
But
think
you
longer than
can
that.
kinda tell, like, too, if, like, they if people know, like, "Hey, this is my meal ticket," and then in the future, if I go into, you know, reunion concerts or, like, the whether it's, like, 90s hip hop or 90s jam bands or 90s, alternative, and it's like, these people were like, "Alright, I should probably take care of myself," and
Yeah.
then, like, so I can sing or I can play guitar or drums or whatever, but, like, again, like it's just kind of interesting to see. Like I mean, the again talking about documentaries, I saw a documentary on Red Hot Chili Peppers, right? And as a kid when they broke out, we were like, "Give It Away" was like I think the first video that I remember where they're all like like having like silver paint on, but like actually no, what was the one in the sun like man, I'm blanking on the full name, but like I remember that one was like on Beavis and Butthead. So that was like the first, I guess, Red Hot Chili Pepper song they had. And then they got
Oh,
like blew up.
Blister in the Sun? Blister in the
Yeah,
Sun.
yeah.
The
It's
Violent
something like
Femmes.
yeah.
Violent Femmes.
No, not Blister in the Sun. It was something in the sun, like the Chili Peppers had their own, like that was the
Oh,
first
it's a
song I was
Chili
watching the
Peppers. Okay.
documentary. I was like, what?
Oh, it's a Chili Peppers. Sorry, I
Yeah.
missed that part that you were saying that. Sorry.
The Chili Peppers, and then like obviously Give It Away, and then like Under the Bridge and all that other stuff. But like just watching them and like how they had to go through it. Like today, I just interviewed. I'm going to be publishing it in June. Um, a podcast with a country singer. His name is Peyton Smith, and we were just kind of talking about like back then, like you had to know someone to try and get on the radio. Now it's like with YouTube and all this other stuff. There's so many people like coming to like the music scene. It's like how do you differentiate yourself from others, and how do you get seen, right? So there's
Yeah.
always going to be positives and negatives, whichever era you're trying to like work and establish your brand.
Yeah, this is a very true statement. Almost you have to defend your whole bands to your kid. This is where like my wife and I just decided we were trying to get into physical media because like basically if you stream stuff you don't own it. So we bought this like record player. We did not invest a lot of money. It was just let's try this and see if we like it. And we got some albums, but and they sound great on those. And the thing is, if you're like I said, if you're going to see Motley Crue and you're going to expect Shout at the Devil guys from the 80s, you're not going to get that because those guys, and if you watch any of those, what was this thing that VH1 used to do, like Inside the Music or whatever?
Behind the Music.
Behind the Music. And those people they just were not, they were just drinking and doing drugs and doing all the shit. So yeah, they're not in the best of shape now. So
The whatchamacallit, the Red Hot Chili Pepper song was Behind the Sun. It was called Behind the Sun.
Behind the Sun, okay.
And George Clinton also helped produce in certain things with them, which was amazing.
Yeah. George Clinton loves them. Like
Yeah.
he loves those guys. I will say weird side tangent on that is I love the show Love, Death Plus Robots. It's this weird animated show, but none of the episodes are connected. Each one you can watch it in whatever order you want. And one of the episodes from the very last season was a puppeteer version of the Red Hot Chili Peppers performing a song. And I can't remember what song it was, but it was interesting because it was puppets, and they don't do that often. I think that's only the second. They've had like 4 seasons. I think that's only the second one where they did puppets on it. But one of them was doing basically a puppet music video of Red Hot Chili Peppers song. So
Yeah.
So there's a question here. Well, basically it's a couple questions. So we're gonna pop that up here real quick and let you have at it here.
Yeah, great question. Appreciate it, man. I would say like I think growing up hip hop music, I love Tupac, Biggie, all that stuff, Wu-Tang. Nas, Jay-Z, and all that stuff. But then when I started working in radio, I was like working for a classic rock station. And I think of the joke in high school was like those superlatives. Like they thought like they joke like how I would be a bluegrass producer because of my love for hip hop. It was just something like totally opposite, right? So like getting into that classic rock scene and then working at different stations and different songs, like you appreciate different types of music. And then also when you meet bands, whether they're famous or they're just starting out, you appreciate the grind and the certain things that the way that they produce music. I would say like there are certain things, whether it is listening to a podcast or like, especially when radio, if there's dead air, that thing like freaks me out and I have nothing to do with it. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm counting. I'm like, all right, it's not going to get
Say
more than
something.
30
Say
seconds.
something.
Yeah. I'm like, say, okay, there's a feed issue there or something, like the program director's not checking things out. But I would say most of the time I kind of listen to media now is just kind of like a fan, unless it's something I'm really into or a band that I'm really into or an artist that I'm into, that I'll kind of like break it down and see like how they're doing things. But for the most part, I think like after a while, like you kind of I just take in content just to enjoy it, unless I really want to like kind of dissect things. But that's like if I really like appreciate it. Like this is gonna be like not really dealing with music, but the recent Star Wars animated version or animated series Maul came out, and it was amazing. Like Dave Filoni and the whole crew that works on that, Sam Witwer that does voices Darth Maul, you can tell that they care about the story of Star Wars and the story of Maul. And like there were different things that were nods to like video games that were in there. And then there was a point where Vader is like feeling like anger, in the way he's like using his lightsaber was very reminiscent. Well, I mean, granted, it happened in that scene before Return of the Jedi timeline, but there was a thing where it was like very much like what Luke was doing to Vader, if that makes sense,
Mhm.
towards the
Yeah.
end of Return of the Jedi. So like those are the type of things I'll kind of break down. Or like I just finished the Daredevil season 2, and I love that. And I
Okay.
did have Vincent D'Onofrio. We talked about, like I said, like one of the
Oh yeah,
things, you
that's right.
know,
You did. I forgot about that. Yeah.
when like Heath Ledger's like, you want to know how I got these scars, or you know, why so serious? I said, when you said, you know, I was talking to him, like when you as Kingpin, whether it was the Netflix series or the Marvel one, it said like when I was a boy, I was just like, oh, that takes me. I'm like, all right, we're gonna have story time. And so like in the scene towards the end of the series, you hear Kingpin played by Vincent D'Onofrio is like, when I was a boy, and they're like, it had nothing to do with like he was just like talking. Everyone's like, what? It was great. So like those are the things, Greg, that I'll kind of be looking at in terms of like, you know, from a production quality. So that's pretty much what I'm kind of looking for.
All right, our guy Jay Wisniewski checking in here. Are you
What's
going to
up,
be
Jay?
checking out? Looking forward to the Punisher one-off
Yeah.
special.
That's another thing. Like John Berthel like does a great job with the Punisher, but then you see the memes. It's like, let me tell you something. It's just like a minute straight of him saying, "Let me tell you something" in different like shows and stuff. And I don't know if you saw the trailer for Spider-Man. You know, Brand New
Oh,
Day.
was a brand new day? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one with Tom Holland in it. Yeah,
Yep.
not
Yeah.
the
And so
animated
like
one.
you see you know, the Punisher's in it, right? And they just like Spider-Man and Punisher have a great like back and forth and stuff like
Oh yeah,
that. So like
yeah. I didn't realize that the Barenthal guy. I didn't realize that was him as the Punisher. I didn't realize that. I just thought he was like playing like a bad guy because I admittedly have not kept up with like the Punisher and all those things. So that's on me. But sorry.
Zach just yells, "You embarrass me" in front of Vanessa.
Can you explain that? Because again, I'm not caught up in all the hip lingo by you young kids.
So the Kingpin's wife, Vincent Wilson Fisk's wife, is Vanessa. And so like there are certain times where like when they were kind of courting or something, it's like, you embarrassed me in front of Vanessa. So it's great. It's so good.
Did you ask D'Onofrio anything about Men in Black?
Men
Like
in
being
Black. We talked a little bit about it. He's like, if you see like how he got the idea, like there's a few clips rolling around because obviously my algorithm, like just with Daredevil and
yeah.
D'Onofrio and stuff like that, you'll see him uh you know, talk about how he did the characterization and the movements and all that, and it's pretty damn good. Like these are the things where like you see people really caring about the roles that they have, whether it is, Tom Holland in Spider-Man. Like, spoiler alert, if you saw, uh No Way Home, where it's just like the third, Spider-Man movie. We had the other Spider-Man from the different multiverses and stuff like that. That was great, man. Like,
Mm,
it was like you saw just like that was, I mean, talk about whether, I don't think it was fan service, it was just a great story, but like putting them all together. Like, I recently watched over the weekend Endgame because I love that movie because it was like all of the different Marvel movies leading up to that one scene with the
yeah, that
portals and all
whole
that other stuff. Like,
yeah.
it was just, oh, amazing.
Yeah, I still think like now I have not. I think at Endgame I kind of stopped watching the MCU stuff. I think that was not that I just was like, it was more like I've kind of had my fill and I have a million other things to watch,
Yeah.
and that's a problem. Like, there's so many things to freaking watch. Like Jay being like, "Come on, man, that's so good." I'm like, "Yeah, I have 15 different things that are in my queue now that I want to watch." That I just don't have time to watch everything. So that's great, but bad because I'm a decision paralysis person. So if there's too many options, I'm like, well, I guess I'm just not watching anything. I guess, and then I'll open a book, and then I look at my to be read pile and go, that's too many books. Like, so it's just not great. Not great, Bob. Not great.
I think not great, pops. Not great. Nice.
Oh,
I would say,
oh,
like, for me,
oh, check this out from Zach. That is a cool
oh,
thing.
nice, man.
That would be awesome. Just to be able to go and be like, have a orchestra doing that, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, you were
Yeah,
saying something.
I like one of my favorite Pandora channels is just like the John Williams channel. It'll just like scroll between his music and some other things. So I dig it.
Yeah, one of my things on the I can't do it. So I actually, it's a little thing. Like, Pandora I still have, and I still have Spotify, but like I actually switched over to this thing called Cobuzz because they pay their artists and they're not Spotify.
Yeah.
Spotify, from a moralistic standpoint, for me is like I need to get out of them. But anyway, the Pandora playlist that I will go back to, that's one of the only reasons I go back and use Pandora, is the Halo soundtrack stuff. Because that is just great music and it's great orchestral music.
Yeah.
It's a shame that Marty O'Donnell, the guy who's the main composer, is a fucking Trump knucklehead, but like that's whatever that is. So anyway, we again went afield here a little bit, but what so you're obviously looking forward to the Punisher one special, which is that a movie or is that a series? Like a
It's
series?
like a one-off. Like, it's on Disney Plus. It's like a one-off. It's kind of like a movie. It's like an hour and 12 minutes, I want to say. I know that Victor probably saw it, so he can probably give you the running time. But I think from what I saw recently, again, it's from legitimate like X like Twitter sources. They're saying like this is the last MCU show for a while, if not they're done with it. But like you're talking about kind of like Marvel fatigue. I think a lot of people were either, whether they thought it was good or not, were just done with the movies because we were saturated with comic book movies and superhero movies, or they felt like certain things were kind of just forced together and the writing got bad or the special effects. Like I'd say like during the what was it? During the pandemic, certain Marvel and certain Star Wars shows, like from like a graphic standpoint, special effects, like because they were like having like a person work on multiple projects and like we need it done. People were saying the quality, when Greg was asking me if like do I have an eye or an ear for content, like that was something that people were kind of talking about. So, oh yeah, so
4 minutes, 4 minutes of credits. Like you said,
yeah.
Victor knew. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's just it. I think you're right. So like I also don't have Disney, but that's a whole personal choice on mine. So, and I don't begrudge people making choices for whatever you want to do because we're all in this sort of timeline together, and you have to figure out what works for you to be able to get through things. So, do whatever works
There's
for
so
you.
many different streaming things together. Like
Too many.
besides like what company holds certain values or themes or whatever that maybe you not agree with, and I appreciate you kind of being like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. um I just remember like someone's like 250 for my cable bill a month. I'm not doing that. And then someone's like, I broke down like all my subscriptions. I'm paying $455 per month. And it's like, and like this is such an old man yelling at a cloud thing. I was talking to someone about this recently, like, especially watching sports. You and I are going to talk about sports pretty soon, but like
Yep.
watching sports, I always love the last channel feature on the remote. Again, first world
Yep.
problems, old man yelling at a cloud.
Right.
Now it's like if I'm watching something, it's like, okay, I gotta go on. Wait, I'm on Sling. All right, no, I can't go there. What was it? Where's the basketball? It's on Prime now. Do I have a Prime account? I
Oh,
don't
the
know.
NBA playoffs are killing me with this fucking switch. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel like old man yelling at cloud, but at the same time, we're not alone in that. Like that is an online discourse that like people who are NBA fans are really pissed about how much they have to swap around.
My
Because then you have,
father-in-law is so ticked off because he loves watching baseball. He's a Yankees fan, but he like watches
oh
all
man.
teams. But he's just like, I bought Apple Plus just so I could, watch the game, and now they're switching, and I can't watch this because it's blacked out here because of where like they're showing the game. He's like, what's
Mhm.
going on? And I'm like, yeah, it's so weird. There's no rhyme or reason because I wanted to watch like I was like a Bulls fan because of George, but also like maybe my second team back in the '90s were the Spurs because I was a big David Robinson fan, and I love to see what Victor Wembanyama is doing. Like he is just great. But then like I totally missed the whole like elbow to the
Oh,
non-face
that was
throat.
rough. That was rough.
I was like, what?
Yeah, I don't know. So just like to put a bow on the streaming things with the playoffs specifically, like that. Like I don't follow baseball, so that's not my thing. But I know baseball has always had issues because you have licensing rights. Things like if you want to watch Yankees or the Mets, you had to have Yes or Gotham or one of those things. And yes, specifically for the Yankees, but I think Gotham had the Mets. That was the same way with the Nets and the Knicks. I barely got to see any of those two teams play because I pay for NBA the streaming service. We could get all the games,
Yeah,
whatever.
live NBA live TV or something.
Yeah, NBA Live, whatever it is. So I pay for, and then any Knicks game or Nets game I come on. Now I didn't give a shit about watching the Nets because they were fucking terrible, but the Knicks I would have liked to have seen, and the only time I've gotten to see them is either if they're on ESPN or if they're in the playoffs because now I can watch them because Gotham and Yes doesn't have the rights. So, but at the same time, it's like I imagine that's how frustrating it had to be, like to be a baseball fan. If your dad's like this fan of baseball and being like, I want to watch, I don't know, the Rockies versus whomever, and I can't because it's blacked out there. Well, that would, if I'm paying for a service and they say you can watch all the games and you can't, then that's a fucking load of shit.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Greg was asking about like Star Wars. If you're introducing a fellow dad to Star Wars for the first time, will you watch the original '77 film, or would you start with Mandalorian? I would say watch episodes 4, 5, and 6, the original. To me, maybe I'm a purist, but like just watch 1, 2, episode 3, 4, 5. I'm sorry, 4, 5, 6, and then maybe go 1, 2, 3. But you can also throw in Rogue One, maybe between A New Hope and Empire. Oh, I'm sorry. Right before right before A New Hope, start Rogue One. You can do that if you want to, but just go kind of like watch episodes 4, 5, and 6, 1, 2, and 3, 7, 8, and 9, Rogue One, and then the other shows you kind of want to watch. I mean, there's a lot of Star Wars content out there as well.
That's not even talking about like Andor, which I really need to watch.
And Doug, I mean, trust me, knowing you and what we were kind of talking about before we started going live, like Andor is a show that you so want to watch, man. Like, Skarsgård has so many great monologues in that. Like, oh man, it's so amazing. Like in season 1, when one of the guys was like working with him, he was like, "Well, what did you have to give up?" He's like, "What I have to give up?" It was amazing. Like that.
yeah,
Like, oh god, so
yeah.
good. And at the end in season 2, when he's talking about how, I don't even want to ruin it, but like those are great, man. You'll appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm gonna whiz through a few comments here because wow, some people was fuck y'all signed a Lakers fan, and then Jay was like, "Sorry, Zach, womp womp." I'm gonna go watch the Sparks. Hey man, the WNBA is fucking awesome. That's a great thing to be able to do that. All right, I'm gonna give you a Manny comment. Just be prepared.
Okay.
God damn it, man. Uh, JT here is just saying they black out the Astros game in Dallas. Why would they black out the?
Yeah, again, that's I think also too what we're talking about, like the whole like um last channel or previous channel on cable, right? Like there's so many different streaming services that certain teams might align themselves with a streaming service, so it's like there you go, you can't have it. So
yeah, so Manny agrees with you. The Andor is so good. I do have to get on that one. So here's a good question from Victor. If you could re-interview one of your past guests, who would it be?
I mean, a lot of them, but like just right now, the top of my head, Sterling K. Brown. I interviewed him right before. This Is Us came out. I got to preview it
right before that. That was a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd love to bring him back because like I had I don't have Hulu, but I have Disney, and like they did like a free preview of the first season of Paradise.
Paradise is amazing. Great.
The first season I heard is like if I watched the first season, it was great. People said the second season kind of like trails off a little bit, but and again, I have no judgment on that because I haven't seen it. But that was such a great series. Like it goes back and forth. Like I don't want to say Quentin Tarantino because like other people have done back and forth, like non-sequential, non-linear cuts and stuff like that to movies or shows. But I love like what the hell like keeps you guessing. Like I saw it twice recently, Project Hail Mary, and I love the editing. I love the storytelling. And especially nowadays, like this story resonates with so many different themes for me right now. And I was just like, oh, so like Sterling K. Brown, but like I just love the way that the editing for that. And Project Hail Mary was just amazing. Like I actually downloaded the Harry Styles song just because like it was so perfect to the movie. And like I'm guessing you probably saw Gosling on like was it Fallon where they were talking about like how they got the rights to that because that scene was kind of improvised because you saw it, right?
Yeah, I've seen it twice.
Yeah, me too.
I read the book and I listened to the audiobook, so I'm pretty well versed on that whole thing. But yeah,
but like that scene where she's singing that Harry Styles song was like improvised, and because Gosling's friends with Styles, he was like, "Yeah, you can put that in the movie," and it's just like that movie is so freaking good.
Mm-hmm. And also, I will say the lady that plays Strat, who's the lady who sang that song, she is absolutely spot on for the character in the book. Gosling's a little afield,
yeah,
but not much for how they made the movie. He's perfect. If you were going to make it like the book, which you could not have, that book is so heavily science, like just science, like yeah. So. Oh boy. All right. I'm not putting that comment up, Art. I know you're laughing at it. No thanks. Not putting that one up.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to ask one more question, and we got a couple other things I want to get to. But this is a good one because this plays into your sneakerhead realm.
All right. Oh, such a good question. Such a good question. Number one would be the Air Jordan 1, just because it's the thing that started it all. And then the Air Jordan 11, because that was when like fashion and sneakers kind of hit the crossroads, and I got married in the 11s, so that's like some sentimental value, especially if I'm like making a capsule for my daughters. The Bo Jackson SC trainer, that was the first shoe I bought. Then like I would say the Reebok Kamikaze that Sean Kemp wore, and the basketball pump from Reebok, because those were iconic as well. D Brown, when I had talked to him on the podcast, he's a Star Wars geek. His son's name is Anakin, by the way.
No shit. I didn't know that.
And no joke, like this dude is awesome. Like I'm not a Celtics fan, but like D Brown sent me stuff for Father's Day. Like he's like does like this dad like frat company that he works with, and he sent me some stuff, and I just like I took the return address, took a picture of it, sent it to my friends because it was like where he's an administrator in Florida for college, and I said, "Any of you Celtics fans get anything from D Brown recently?" Because I did. But like,
I think he was a dunk contest champion too, wasn't he?
Yeah. So I would put the Reebok pump in there. I would put in a classic shell toe from Adidas because again, hip hop culture, Run DMC, all of that. And then what else? What else? I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think those would be pretty like so you have Reebok, Adidas, and Nike. Obviously, a little bit more towards Nike heavy, but those are the sneakers I would definitely put in there. But then, about 2026 culture, not like the favorites. Sorry. All right, this year, sneakers this year. Whew, I would still put the ones because a lot of kids are rocking the ones. One of my daughter's friends, he wore like Air Jordan ones for his like one of the proms like last year. What else we got? Oh, we got someone coming in.
Yeah. All right.
Is he coming in?
Apparently, the producer. No.
All right, all right. So I need sneakers that speak to the craziness of 2026. So I need some like Kanye's or like some like
No, you don't need any
um
Kanye's. You're good.
or
Yeah, not that.
who's the other guy? Some Kyrie's or
Kyrie's, Kyrie's are
listen,
pretty cool.
26 needs to be off the wall. It doesn't need to be like the best. It has to be some quirky, weird, off the timeline bullshit.
Well, like Nike is making a lot of like crazy ones right now that like are kind of futuristic shoes. Um, like like there's the Vomero 5, which is like kind of retro and everybody's wearing it. Like kids, young adults and parents are wearing these sneakers. But the Vomero 18 is like this weird looking like bubble of a shoe. And maybe I've seen a lot of people wearing it just because of track and all this other stuff that my daughter was doing. So the Vomero 18 is like big out there. But then I'm trying to think of like there's like there's like these Nike shoes slash sandals that have like almost like tiny little balls underneath the sole of the foot to help you like understand where you're where you're like how you walk, and because there's different ways that like everyone walks and stuff like that. So that's kind of it.
Yeah. There was a thing where Manny was asking about the. Hold on, let me find that comment. So he was sorry. So Manny received this package that he did not order, and it was this giant box, and it was all Nike gear that he didn't order. We never got a comment whether he was going to return it or tell people that wasn't his or whatever. Like listen, you want to be forthright and be like, hey, this isn't mine. Yeah, but like I don't know what he did with that, but like it was just this. He sent pictures of like all this fucking gear from Nike. Like had to be a couple $100 worth of fucking shit that was in that. Oh, so he said he is holding it for a month. I think that's the way to go, dude. Do it. So yeah. So all right. Not getting new white balance. Sorry, man. Not doing that. And last question here before we get to some other things. What sneaker did you buy this year?
Well, recently for my birthday, I got the Kobe 3 lows, the Mambasita one for in honor of his daughter Gigi. It was her nickname. My daughters used to call my mom Gigi. She passed away back in 2012, but like those are the things where I was like, I want that's like my latest pair. It's the Nike Kobe 3 low, and it's like black and white and it has Gigi on the heel. So like that's the latest thing I got.
Yeah, I bought one pair of sneakers in the past year. It was a pair of Brooks running shoes because I wanted something good for my feet when I was walking. I don't run; my knees are shot, but I can walk forever. So I use those at the gym and if I go for walks. So but I did get a pair of. So I had these hiking boots that I had that my wife. I've had them since my wife and I went on our honeymoon, which was 13 years ago. And they just started to have cracks in them, so they were getting wet if I wore them out. They were waterproof boots. So I said, I wanted some hiking sneakers. I got these Columbia ones that were like, I think $60, and they are just the most comfortable fucking shoe I own. More comfortable than Brooks. Like the Brooks ones were way more expensive. So yeah, I just really those are the shoes that I am not a good sneaker person to ask because I buy shoes once every year or two, and then the shoes that I did have, I just migrate them and they become my lawn mowing shoes. I am the worst person to ask about sneakers.
No, listen. I would think you're more like you're more in the normal variety of people buying sneakers compared to me. And I think man was saying like the Sabrina Nescu's, like those are legit cool shoes. Like they're comfortable.
That's one of my favorite WNBA players too. Like she doesn't get as much pub as some of the other folks. I just love the way she plays. Like she's badass. So yeah.
Speaking of basketball,
yeah. So we're a couple other comments we could do, but I'm going to go over here. So we're going to talk basketball. Then I have a video game question for you. We are going to talk NBA players. So this is obviously a very subjective list. And I asked you, I didn't give you a lot of time right before we went live. I said, all right, I'm going to ask you this question. So here we go. The question is, give me your favorite NBA players that are they're not in like the lexicon. They're not like something you think of. They're somewhat forgotten. So give me some NBA players that you could think of. Could be, my guess is that you're going to go a little bit more old school like me, but like it could be somebody newer. But like, what are some of your NBA players that you could think of? I have a small list, but like, give me some ones that you think of.
Yeah, no, there's a couple of new, like more recent ones, but like just going back for me, Kevin Johnson, he used to play for the Suns.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good point guard. I think he's like in Phoenix. I think he's like a councilman or something.
He was a mayor. He was a mayor of Phoenix for a bit.
Yeah, mayor. Yeah. So, but like I always thought, like especially watching him and Barkley and maybe Marley and all that, and Tom Chambers in the Suns going against the Bulls in the playoffs in the finals. Like he was always like cool, calm, collected. Like he would like even though things were kind of crazy, I always appreciated him, and I've kind of gotten into like back into like junk wax like cards and stuff like that. And so like I think last time I was on with you guys, we were ripping up cards, like open up boxes and stuff like that. But like I would say for me, like he's one. Spurs, Sean Elliott, another great person to work with David Robinson. He was always kind of like like the three like the small forward, sometimes could be a shooting guard. Definitely dug him and like what he did. And then who's nice. Love the comments. Should I do like a starting five? Would that like like three more?
However you want to do it. I just grabbed five. I have 20 people I can talk about. So please have at it.
I guess maybe it's and you're gonna be like, oh, great Celtics, but like
no, I'm good with it. Whatever you've got.
White from the Celtics, I think, especially when you have Tatum and Brown, but I think like White is like he can help take the 3-point burden off the other two guys. He's a great passer and all that. So like for the modern day, like him, Horace Grant, when he played for the Bulls, played for the Magic as well. I just watched a documentary on the Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway talking about the Orlando Magic and all that other stuff. But like Horace Grant was just, you had some of the big guys like Will Perdue and Bill Cartwright and all that stuff. But like Horace Grant before like the Rodman era, he was kind of like the enforcer, but like getting the rebounds and all that other stuff.
Blue guy.
Yeah. And then I would say maybe, I think people maybe forget about him, maybe not because his son's playing, but Arvydas Sabonis, man, like that dude was like, he was, if you had to find someone that just like, not like style wise, but looks wise, he'd be the closest to the Joker, Jokic, where it's like body type. He looks like he's smoking a pack of cigarettes during like halftime, coming out, maybe like getting a triple double if he could do that. But like, as Randy Scott from ESPN says, like, Jokic is like the dad bod god. Like Sharonis, like, I mean, he was like the
Oh,
very first one on Trailblazer. So like that's like for me was like I'd say I'd give you like my 5 that like you kind of know them, but you also forget them based on the other players that were on the team.
yeah. I just remember when Dan Patrick used to say, "He's not your Vetus, he's not my Vetus, he's our Vetus," which was like one of my favorite dumb catchphrases from those days with him and Olbermann. That guy was Jokic before, but he played in Russia so many years because he couldn't play here because America wouldn't allow him in.
Yeah.
So by the time he got to America, his knees were fucking long turned to dust. They were just not good. But he still was just an amazing player to watch. Like, just I get you. He's kind of lost. I'm going to give you a few, and like I said, these are the ones that I just did like a 5. But like, man, I have others. Bernard King does not get his due. That motherfucker was a scoring machine. He had some cocaine problems, but who didn't back in the 80s in the NBA? So there's that. Detlef Schrempf.
Oh, yep.
Jesus. And also he was on NBA Jam, which we'll talk about video games later. But I just loved his utility, how he was like, I'm going to gravitate towards guys that can do a lot of things. Like that's just kind of the guys I always found really interesting. Like Tom Chambers, I loved watching play because he looked like the guy that was going to be like, oh, that's my neighbor mowing his lawn. And he's just dunking on people. One of the best traffic dunkers I've ever seen. Just like,
and Chambers was the guy in like I don't know, was it Bulls versus Blazers for Sega Genesis, where if you went to take a shot at a certain point on top of like the arc, almost like on the 3-point line, I think I've talked about this before, but he would do like the triple, double, quadruple pump and dunk. You could not stop it. You could not.
No, it was impossible. Yeah, he was sort of like the weird like Bo Jackson of that game, and just with one move. He couldn't do all the things, but he could do that one move, and you just couldn't fucking stop it.
Yep.
I'm going to give you Dale Ellis.
Oh, nice.
Just a fucking dead-eye shooter back when people just like didn't really like. If you played now, that motherfucker would average 25 a game pretty easy because that guy could just flat out shoot one of the nicest shots I've ever seen. Like his, and I'm going to give you one of the ugliest shots. But I miss the days when guys had terrible shooting form and could still make shots. Michael Adams. Do you remember Michael Adams? The shot put guy. He looked one-handed shot put kind of just the weirdest, ugliest shot. And he was just a good shooter. Little guy.
Skybox card of him with like doing like a free throw shot.
I'm telling you, he just and he was like 6 foot, but he was just relentless. Like that guy was just like, no, I'm not going to say Cuttino Mobley over Kurt Rambis. I'm not going to talk about either of them. Cuttino Mobley was a decent player. Kurt Rambis was just Bill Laimbeer with glasses, but less of a shooter. There's other guys, like one of the ones that I always loved was Rodney McRae. Do you remember him with the Rockets?
Yep.
Part of the, Mario Ellie, Samson Olajuwon. Like, goddamn, I just love the way that guy played. He was just like, I just find guys who are kind of like, I'm going to be good at everything. I'm not going to be great at everything, but those are the kind of guys I always am super interested. I remember seeing this clip where one guy for the Bucks was Terry Cummings. And I was watching this video where this guy said, I came into the league and the coaches told me to stay the fuck away from Terry Cummings. And he was like this strong guy, and I can't remember who the interview was, but it was like on the All the Smoke podcast, I think. What was your introduction to the NBA? When did you say I'm in the NBA now? And he said, I went up and I tried to do something, and he just fucking floored me with just a forearm. Like Terry Cummings was like one of these. He's like old man strong because he had like 4 kids. He was a dad. He was like knocking guys down.
That dude has been on so many different teams. Like he was on the Spurs, he was on the Sonics, he was on, oh man, like again, like the junk wax that I opened up. I'm like, yep, he's here. Like you should follow him on TikTok. Like he's like, he'll just kind of give you words of wisdom here and there.
Okay.
And like that dude, like old man, like another guy too that was around the same time that like moved around to different teams. I did interview him, Xavier McDaniel.
The X-Man. The X-Man Cometh, which is one of the greatest NBA posters.
Yep.
That is a conversation we should have sometime, just talking about the greatest NBA posters.
Uh-huh.
Nobody will beat the Iceman. That is
Oh yeah.
beyond any poster. But man, the X-Man, I love him.
Did you see Caleb Williams? He's like he's a great quarterback for the Bears. All right, like I'm curious to see like what they do, but like he was trying to take the moniker Iceman.
Oh no, dude. That's reserved for one human only.
Yep.
You can't take that. That's not yours. Gervin is another guy though. Like, yeah, everybody in like NBA circles, but like now nobody who the fuck thinks about that guy that was a scoring machine.
Well, that's the same thing too with Bill Russell, man.
Same. That guy is the best center I think that's ever existed on the planet. And he's a Celtic, and that pains me to say, but that guy won fucking like 11 championships or like 9.
People always talk about who's better, LeBron or Jordan, right? But then it's like, well,
if you're looking at titles,
they talk about titles, and it's like, all right, well, Russell. But then also too, you think about Russell, where he not only won as a player, but he also was like the player coach.
Yes,
in a time where Boston was not really a fan of all the different things that if you were not white. So it was just like a lot of things he had to overcome. Like a lot of people talk about like, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, all that stuff. Larry Bird is phenomenal. Obviously for a player, he was a great, he talked a lot of trash, but also too, like he won MVP. He also won Coach of the Year, and then he won GM of the Year. That's an awesome trifecta that like, that's like ridiculous. Maybe I don't know if Jerry West won anything in terms of coach, if he was a head coach, but I think he probably won for GM.
He did one for GM. I'm not sure he was a coach.
But just the idea of like, obviously Larry Bird with threes, and all that stuff, for him to hit the trifecta of like league MVP, Coach of the Year, and then all of a sudden like GM, I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Look at us giving so much pride and love to Celtics.
Man, like another guy that doesn't get his due is Havlicek from Boston.
Yeah.
Like that guy was just like a motor.
Every time, I don't know if you've ever heard it, but the Mad Dog rant about Kevin Durant about like having what's it called, management, like what do they call it, labor management or whatever, load management and all that other stuff, like load management. Like there was a thing like, so if like you say Havlicek to my daughters, they'll just be like, Havlicek, just like the rant that he goes off, Mad Dog Russo. It is amazing.
Another one that back in those days was Bobby Jones. Love Bobby Jones. That guy was like, he was the like Havlicek after Havlicek retired. He just wasn't quite as good as Havlicek.
Yeah.
But he just did everything. He was just, Mr. I could defend everybody. I could shoot. I could do all those things. As opposed to Mark Ivaroni. Sorry. Sorry. No Mark Ivaroni slander here, but like, what are you going to do?
It's all good.
So before we shift over to video games real quick, I mentioned Michael Adams as Ugly Shot All-Stars. Like he is like first team Ugly Shot All-Stars. Like we have guys that everybody knows that everybody has really nice shooting motion. They train, they do have people telling them how to be. Like I look at him, I look at guys like Vinny Johnson, Bill Cartwright, Vinny Johnson.
Oh, the microwave
baby. Like Sean Marion, who looked like he was flinging shit off his hands when he was shooting the ball. Like what are some of your other guys that you just
Shaquille O'Neal shooting a free throw?
Oh my God. It's shoving it at the rim. Like, are there any other guys that you go just like, I miss those days when like you'd have these really Larry Bird had one of the most awkward shooting motions, but everything just went in.
I'm trying to think of some, like I feel like I'm watching like old school 80s and 90s games, and like Pistol Pete, he did the granny shot for free throws, right?
Oh, so did Jerry West. Was it Jerry West? Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, was it Jerry West? No, it was fuck. Who's the guy that's like the giant asshole that played for the Lakers? Rick Barry. No, played for the Warriors. Rick Barry.
Rick Barry, yeah, Rick Barry, yep, yeah,
Also, a guy that doesn't get as much due as he should because that guy was an amazing player. He was
yeah.
just a giant asshole. All right, a couple here things for before we go to video games. We have back to the original question, me guys. How about some brothers? I forgot Gerald was Dominique's brother, and Wesley Person for some reason I thought was Chuck's kid. I don't know why. But the fucking rifleman, baby.
Yeah.
Also, Mark and Brent Price. There's a big disparity there, which we're going to see if Carlos Boozer's kids both make it to the NBA because Cam is noticeably better than his brother.
Yeah, I had Carlos on the show. We talked. This was like a couple years ago before like Duke fame and stuff like that. But you could tell like he's super proud of like both of them and like what they're gonna hopefully accomplish in the NBA.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you like there's a lot
Steph
of talk about
Seth, right?
Steph and Seth. Yes, that's probably the best brother duo. I think. Wrong combo. Yeah, Bobby Hurley, man. He's the one coaching UConn now, I think. He's a lunatic. Just a fucking lunatic. Like, I don't know. All right, so let's shift over here. We're going to talk a bit about, I'm going to give you favorite retro games. So, but I want to set that the priority is pre-2000s because was it before the show started? I mentioned I want to do pre-2000 because once you get into 2000, 2001, you're getting into Halo, Call of Duty. None of that. Let's go pre-2000s. Give me some retro games that you love from that era. Like I had 5. But, I mean, again, this is another thing where I could talk. You and I could probably talk for an hour about whatever. So, give me some of your favorites, but pre-2000.
Okay, Atari 2600. I would say Pitfall was one of my favorite games for that because it was just kind of like open, like that was like the early concepts of an open-ended world, so to speak.
Because you could never beat it.
Yeah. I would say like the Empire Strikes Back game for Atari 2600 was pretty cool. For Nintendo, Mario Brothers, obviously, but then there was like Rolling Thunder was kind of like a James Bond, like you were like this guy that was like trying to like save the world. So Rolling Thunder was pretty good, which I enjoyed. I always mention this sometimes when I'm on the show, Adventures of Bayou Billy, just like some random game. I was like, all right. Ninja Gaiden was like pretty sweet for me. Okay, then like Sega, granted you had like NBA Jam, Mortal Kombat, and all that stuff. For the 8-bit Nintendo, you had Tecmo Bowl, but like I'm kind of like talking about things I had like people I have played. The X-Men game was great for Sega Genesis. Really appreciated that game. And then trying to think if there's any other like other games that were like not well known, but I definitely dug. That was just like pretty sweet that like people are like, oh, what is this game? Like I'd probably say like the X-Men game. Granted, people played it, but like I just remember playing the hell out of that thing and then getting pissed until I found out like realizing like, all right, you have to like have the game like debug itself to go to the next level.
Oh yeah, that's
like,
God damn it.
What the hell's going on? Like Magneto was frying your game console or whatever. But like those are my games. Just kind of start off the conversation.
Yeah, so I have, like I said, I started off with 5. There's obviously a million other things we can go to with this. So NBA Jam gets a lot of love, as it should, because that is a great fucking game. That's why I have my little thing, He's on Fire, and my little note there. But there was a parallel game that played at that time that I loved more because it was just fucking dumb and real, and you could start fights in it, and it was Arch Rivals. Do you remember Arch Rivals?
Yes.
You just punch a guy and take the ball. And it was just dumb because that was like not even street ball. That was like just thug ball, and you just like, punch a guy, take the ball, and go. I'm gonna go to the original to PlayStation 1. Like this is, when and I had a one of those like had a soldering chip in there to make it like so I could play anything in there. It's called Medieval, which was like you were a skeleton guy that just went through with a sword and were trying to avenge things, and it was almost like a Halloween theme, but it wasn't a Halloween. You were
Okay.
just a guy trying to recoup things that you lost in your life. That was one of them. One of my all-time favorite like scroller kind of, well, not even scroller, but like just goofy games was Crash Bandicoot. God damn, I love
Oh,
Bandicoot games. I played the shit out of all those.
yeah.
Um, there's also Doom. It's Doom. How the fuck do you not think about how great that one? And
Yeah.
my all-time favorite from like retro styles, the original Super Mario Brothers, arcade style. My friends and I would play that, and we would play it in a quarter, and you'd be like, "You cannot warp," and you would just have to get as fucking far as you could just without warping. There's some other things like track and field. Do you remember track and field? Like,
Do you remember like what for the Atari 2600 California games?
yeah,
Like there was like skateboarding, surfing, and all of a sudden hacky sack.
I know. They were like, okay, like I could do the hack. I do the other thing.
Zach mentioned like NHL Open Ice. I loved all of those different games for like, you had NFL Blitz, but you also had NFL Street. NHL Open Ice was amazing. And then obviously NBA Jam and all that. But like if they like there's a gold mine waiting to happen for like if companies like, because I know people have like, different like ways that you were talking about like soldering chips in and stuff like that, but like you made it easy for the general public just to get like a handful, like just a disc or something where it's like you're playing all the old school like arcade games from like the 80s and 90s where there was like Daytona 500. You ever go to like an arcade with a bunch of your friends and there was like 8 Daytona 500
Yeah.
things, and you just you'd have like 6 of you just hang out like, all right, let's go let's see who can like win this race. Like that. There was the the Star Wars arcade from the episodes 4, 5, and 6 that like I remember playing at a Fuddruckers in New Jersey. Like I loved that game. If like they made that thing, like I'd be like, why aren't they like making it for like the PlayStation? Because they did like I bought even though I have pretty much all the games on different consoles, I bought the collector's edition of like all the Mortal Kombats from like early 90s to like 2000, and it was just like I have all these games. There was a sweet like collector's edition. I got it, and like those were cool. Like they need to do that with all of the like NHL Rivals, NBA Jam, NFL Blitz, like those games. Like if you put that on a disc, that was
Bowl.
Yes.
Tecmo Bowl is another one. Like
Yep.
When I was in college, we would schedule classes around the games we would play in that. We would play seasons. Fucking Tecmo Bowl, dude. Like I was not a Detroit Lions fan, but I would pick the Lions because I had Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
And I would just run for like 10,000 yards in a season. It's like super ridiculous. I'd run and I'd get to the 1 yard line and I'd run out and then I'd run all the way back and then just the dumbest shit.
Mario Kart and GoldenEye for the 64 was
GoldenEye, yeah.
Game that we would play all the time. The games we would play all the time in college. I love those games.
There's also Metal Gear Solid, which was back in like 98, I think.
Yes.
So, like fucking. It's funny when you watch when you play Metal Gear Solid now, and you're just like, it's these Japanese people trying to do an American theme, and they just thought all Americans are like super horny. So like Solid Snake would be talking to this lady, and he'd be like, "Hey, how about we hook up later?" And you're just like, "What the fuck is going on? I'm 12. What do you keep me like?" I'm not 12, but like,
anytime you saw the exclamation point of a guard you're trying to pass by, you're like, "Oh crap." Do you remember that? Like, if you would like, and they're
like, fuck, here we go. Backyard baseball, I never got into that, but like, because I'm not a baseball fan, but yeah. Medieval was, I'm telling you, that it was just this goofy fucking game that had no right being as good as it was. Like, the other one that's like, so this is a game that actually is consistently thought of as one of the harder games to beat. It was Ghosts and Goblins. Do you remember Ghosts and Goblins?
Yes. Yep.
That was an extremely difficult game to actually beat.
Yep.
And it's not like Pitfall was like you couldn't beat it because there was no end. This was like there was an end, but you had to go through some real shit to get to the end. And that was one of the first games I ever played where I was like, I know there's an end to this. I'm not sure I'm ever going to get to it because it's really fucking hard.
It's just right on the 2000 border. It's in 99. But do you remember I had a Sega Dreamcast? Do you remember Virtua Tennis?
No, because I didn't have a Sega Dreamcast, but like
it was such a fun game. Such a fun game to play. I loved it.
What about Mike Tyson Punch Out?
That game, like I have like that little 8-bit, Nintendo like little mini unit we can play like Tecmo Bowl, Mike Tyson Punch Out, and all that other stuff. And I think they took out Mike Tyson. I think just called it Punch Out due to
because of licensing or whatever.
Yeah, and all that stuff. But like it was a good game. Like I think that was like the hype up. But like now I'm like, it's like I've played it and I'm like, like after you beat a couple people, I'm like, yeah, I'm done with this game. Like it's because it's just the idea of like as soon as you learn the tricks for each fighter, you're like, all right, like you just I mean, if you're really into the game, I understand that. For me, it's like maybe Mortal Kombat-ish where you start learning the rules of each fighter. But like for me, I'm like, yeah, it was all right. What the hell you did, Zach?
Sure you did. I'm going to give you a really super old one that I really love that I was not good at and didn't care that I wasn't good at just because it was like really ridiculous. It was Battlezone. You remember Battlezone with the two fucking sticks that you'd have to buy a tank? Basically, you're a tank and it was very 2D. It was like black background with green lines and you'd have to fucking just like maneuver your way to shoot them.
The only game that like was similar to that I played was for the 2600 for Atari was Combat.
Yeah, I think Combat was kind of a derivative of that.
Yeah, but, Combat, you had like 18 different stages, and like there was tanks, there were planes, then there was like where you could like ricochet bullets off of like, and every time you got hit, you just like spin around.
Yeah. There was a game called R-Type that I really loved. It was like a Defender style game. So you were platforming.
Yes.
You could accumulate like rockets and different kind of things. But as soon as you died, you had to basically start over with just like your basic shooter.
Yeah.
But it was a cool like sort of platformer because it was different. Because like, Defender was like, you're just going through and you might have a couple things. This thing you'd have you should start with the little ship, and then you start with the ship with all these fucking attachments on it. And it was like, all right, here we go. And like I just
Defender and Asteroids always like gave me objects. It's like if like you moved your ship a little bit, then you're just like, oh crap. And like you try to like recenter your ship, and then while the time you're trying to focus on that, and Asteroid just wipes you out. And then Defender, it's like you were trying to get like the different power-ups and the different things going through, and all of a sudden like you're just screwed because like you're focused on not the game itself, but trying to get those power-ups, and you like hit a cave or like something like a stalactite, and you're like done.
Yeah, there's like what was funny is like lots of people like Pac-Man. I never was like a big fan of that game. I just really wasn't because one, I was really bad at it, but two, it was just like okay, like. But then again, I also like Centipede, which was pretty rudimentary at the same time. I was also not good at Centipede. Space Invaders is actually okay at, but the thing is like you're looking at that's me being like here's these super old games kind of thing. So like Battlezone is like seriously, I think that was like 1980 or 81. It is the most basic of fucking games that somebody built. So
yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say platform because it was side scroller. If you want to do that, sorry. There's a side scroller.
Oh, technical Terry Zach enters the chat. Look at him.
Look at him. Hey, keep driving, motherfucker, and quit commenting. How about that?
Yeah.
So I meant side scroller. So apologies on that.
I understood what you meant.
Yeah, sorry. I was. At any rate, is there any newer games that you're looking forward to playing or interested in?
There's go figure or shocking. There's some of the Star Wars games that are coming out. I'm looking forward to play, like some that's like the number one. Like for me, like I know this is gonna sound dumb. Like the game that I play like a lot over and over again is the Battlefront for the PlayStation 4. Like I love playing Battlefront, especially like the different like you're playing online. Like that's what I've been playing as much right now. But like I would say right now the Galactic Racer, and that's what I've been kind of looking for. What about you?
I'm really interested in the newer coming up where it's the Gears of War E-Day, which is like the prequel to the original Gears of War. So you're starting out when things really fucking started.
Yeah,
I'm curious how they're going to do that. Like I want that to be interesting because the last Gears of War just really was not great. And the problem is it's what you do. You get stagnation where you're like, okay, well, I'm doing the same mechanics. What's new about the story?
yeah,
Which I think is something that like Halo, for all its issues, their games every time they come out has a new story, and that's something that I find intriguing. Please advance the story itself. What's the story? Now this time they're going back, so that'll be intriguing because it's like an origin story for how all that stuff started. So I'm really
yeah.
intrigued by that. One thing I will wish that I could do, which is I would like to be able to. I don't have a PlayStation, but I would like to play Ghost of Tsushima and then also have Ghost of Yotei to be able to play those as you know. I want to be able to play those because both those games sound super intriguing to how they play, like there's just a play mode and all that stuff. So that is a couple of things I'm really intrigued by. I am not big into much of the other things that are kind of coming out. I mean, Control Resonant might be interesting
Yeah.
because I like the original Control, but like we'll see how that goes. So yeah, we have a relevant graphic. All right, highest grossing franchises of all time.
Oh, your favorite Pac-Man's at 4.
That's okay. Listen, I don't think it's bad. It's not my jam. What I find interesting about this, no Halo. Games that I've ever heard like Monster Strike. Never heard of that. Lineage.
Because we're old. I'm surprised Street Fighter over Mortal Kombat, but I'm just biased, I guess. Zach will
Yeah.
probably have a field day with me saying this.
Yeah, like so and the interesting is Call of Duty's in that mix, and like I said, the last several games of that have not been great. I'm surprised they still make that much money, but
Candy Crush.
Candy Crush. Intriguing. Grand Theft Auto, despite not having a game coming out for the next 5 years. Because they will keep coming, will keep delaying that. I think it's interesting that FIFA is at 16. I actually thought that would be higher.
Yeah, me too. Globally, you'd think that'd be higher.
Yeah, Honor of Kings, I have no fucking clue what that game is at all. And Space Invaders being 20 billion is like really fascinating because that game is fucking super ancient. How is that still around? But yeah, the other things like Fortnite, that doesn't surprise me. Actually, in that context, like Call of Duty doesn't surprise me because they're adopting the same model as Fortnite where they're doing like, here's your in-game purchases and doing all that nonsense.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, yeah. Anything else you want to talk about tonight, sir?
I'm good, man. I think we covered what we needed to cover today.
Yeah, I mean, there's a million things we can talk about.
Oh, yeah.
For another fucking 40 minutes at least. So, Harry, I want to talk a bit about what we're doing next month. What we are doing next month, let me find the thing, is this. We are going to do a Pride Month Mortal content. So we're going to have Jerry Richard and Brianna. They'll be able to talk about basically Pride content, whether it be movies, podcasts, books, whatever. That way we can just chat about all that kind of stuff. That'll be Tuesday, June 9th, 9 p.m.
Nice.
So yeah, that'll be interesting. So yeah,
Appreciate the
anyway,
work you guys are doing. Keep it up, man.
yeah, thanks. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being on this show.
My pleasure.
And I really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you when we talk to you.
Cool.
All right, take care. We'll see you guys later. Thanks everybody for listening. Go to artoffatherhood.net. Follow him. Trust me, you'll have loads of podcasts to listen to with super interesting people, and it's great. So,
and yes, Zach, I have seen the new Mortal Kombat movie. I loved it.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. All right. Thanks everybody. Take care. Have a good night. Cheers.